Greetings and welcome to the first annual NASA IT Summit. We call this session to order and officially begin our three-day event to explore the outer reaches of information technology. At this time, we're going to ask that everyone please stand. Make sure the outer aisles are free as the color guard comes in. And as they come in, we will also have the posting of the colors and the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right shoulder. Hump. Right head.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Well, this is certainly very exciting to those of you that are in this room and to those that I know that are in one of the other rooms across the hallway. Good morning again. I'm Karen Harper. I work for the agency CIO Linda Cureton, and together, James Williams, acting CIO from Ames Research Center, and I are the co-chairs for this event. First, as with any large event, you make administrative announcements. These general sessions are being broadcast live and will be available on our NASA OCIO website for later viewing. We ask that you silence your cell phones and keep conversation and extraneous noise to a minimum. We encourage everyone to post comments about their experience throughout the summit using Twitter or NASA's BuzzRoom using the hashtag NASAIT. For those that are watching remotely, use these tools to post your questions to the speakers. We will have a moderator who can pose some of the questions from our virtual participants to the speakers as time allows. We also want to give you a heads up that next week you'll be receiving a survey via email from us. It is important for us to get your feedback so we can improve upon this year's event and make next year's summit even better. And finally, All of the sessions are on a first-come, first-served basis. We have approximately 1,150 registrants, so it's important to be on time. If a session room is full, there are 5 other concurrent sessions to choose from that will no doubt have something to offer. And at this time, James Williams is going to introduce Linda Cureton.
Hi. Wow, this is pretty amazing. Beginning of this year, Linda Cureton, actually earlier than that, it was October, November timeframe, talked to all of us about a vision for the NASA IT community. Linda started her job on September 28th, which was a Sunday, so she officially started on the first day of work on September 29th of last year. And not even a year into her leadership as our agency CIO, we have brought 1,150 people of our community together to share in their experiences, to collaborate, to be open and transparent about what we're doing across NASA. Linda really embraces the values of openness, transparency, mission enabling, and specifically collaboration on how all the centers of NASA can work together to make IT something special and working well for all of us. She wanted us all to gather as a community alongside other IT leaders within the federal government, as well as academic institutions, as well as our commercial partners. And we welcome all of you to this event. We're looking forward to having everybody here enjoying our time. She also promotes a place where collaboration and innovation can really invigorate our community. She encourages our staff and our leaders to embrace it, to figure out what the next steps are for evolving IT and strengthening NASA's IT operations. In the initial planning stages of this event, we only expected about 650 people. In fact, when we were originally talking, we weren't quite sure, okay, our first time out of the gates, we weren't sure what was going to happen. And here we are at 1,150 people. Our original intention was to stop at about 900. And of course, we continued to exceed our expectations on this. And we're really looking forward to what next year is going to bring us as we go into next year planning the event. The demand from the community has been absolutely miraculous, and we appreciate the interest of all the other communities across the federal agency as well as our commercial partners. And we hope that everybody who was interested that didn't make it this year will also be able to participate with us in next year's event. I now am going to turn the microphone over to our event visionary and Chief Information Officer, Linda Cureton. As NASA CIO, Linda provides the leadership to transform the management of information technology capabilities and services to support and enable NASA's mission. Before taking on the role of the NASA CIO in 2009, she had an extensive history of leadership within the federal agencies. She served as the CIO of the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center and led the Information Technology and Communications Directorate. She was the Deputy Chief Information Officer of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and led the Office of Science and Technology as Deputy Assistant Director. She served in executive positions at the Department of Energy and the Department of Justice as well. I'd like everyone to welcome Ms. Linda Cureton, our NASA CIO.
Good morning. Welcome to our first NASA IT Summit. I hesitated to say first because that suggests that there will be more, and I was thinking, gee, as Karen said, maybe this won't be a success, but I'm so overwhelmed, even walking through the room, about how many people actually came to hear about what we're doing in IT across the agency. It's amazing, and I'm thrilled and humbled to be here. This is an amazing gathering of the NASA IT community here, and it's a beautiful morning at the National Harbor to do that. So welcome, and thank you so much for coming. And we're indeed a community. The definition of a community is the body of people with a common purpose, professional interests, and they're scattered throughout a larger group of society. Though we come here today from different parts of the country, we're united in our commitment to providing NASA with the finest IT and the use of technology to enable our mission. With President Obama's new initiative for space exploration, we must be prepared to face and overcome the challenges that lie ahead. The agency's dependency on IT is precisely why IT must function properly. We've all heard the phrase, failure is not an option, but we need to be resilient and recover quickly when failure, setbacks, and disappointments are options, and for true learning that occurs when these actions take place following these failures. When I became CIO last fall, I shared my vision to make NASA IT the very best in the federal government. Now, I know that many were surprised and maybe didn't agree with such a bold announcement, but I'm reminded of that old Kashmiri piece of folktale wisdom, if not today, when? So I began by outlining areas of improvement and focus, and I'll address those in just a moment. I know that in order to make this vision a reality, an important early step would be to gather the IT community to share best practices, network, and engage in fruitful discussions, and be instructed by experts on new and cutting-edge subjects on the internal and external IT landscape. I consider this summit much like a marketplace of concepts and ideas for the betterment of the IT community, opening across disciplines and all levels, from students to CIOs. With interesting and informative sessions over the next 2.5 days, along with speakers from NASA and the industry, you'll find that value will be offered everywhere you go. We'll conclude the summit on Wednesday with a luncheon recognizing our first class of IT Summit Award winners. After the summit, many will join NASA working groups for meetings that will start the process of carrying forward what we began here today. My vision for creating the best IT in federal government is based on project execution, results, innovation, and value to the mission, considering the following areas of improvement here in the near term. Number one, improved IT management and planning, including the implementation of a strong enterprise architecture and governance process to optimize the mission. In English, what does that mean? Enterprise architecture is how we plan, knowing where we are, where we're going, what we need to do to get there, and how we close the gaps. In order to look at that future, I established the position of the Chief Technology Officer for IT, the first such position in NASA. And this is a federal government-wide. We're looking at how to use technology and how to use innovation in how we manage IT, not just at NASA, but across the entire federal government, to the betterment of the citizens and what we need to do as a country. We are improving our business strategies. We're making decisions about how IT is managed, what it needs to do to support our mission, and what are the enabling technologies that we need to go forward. Governance is how we make decisions, who makes decisions, and how this organization works. We know about how governance works in the country, how the Constitution defines the principles that we lead by. IT governance talks about the principles that we lead IT. And we are measuring how we are doing, and we are going to develop specific actions for going forward to improve governance of IT. Next is improved cybersecurity. We have been much the talk of the Beltway with what we're doing with IT. And the issue here is that we have to look at what our specific threats are and what our specific risks are. We looked at complying and covering the landscape in terms of making sure that we do what we need to do, but we need to do what risks we have that are the most important risks. We need to constantly know what our situation is, to constantly know who's looking at us, who's trying to get at us, who's looking at our data, and that the data that we have is reliable, available, and has the highest integrity that is possible. We are creating a best-in-class program to do that, and we are cooperating and supporting the goals and principles of the Computer Emergency Readiness Team and making sure that we contribute to the awareness that we need as a federal government. In supporting that also, we're looking at the threat analysis program and making sure that we are aware of what the most current threats are and that we report the threats to the proper authorities so that we can reduce the attacks and reduce the surface that's used to attack the data that we protect as a nation. Improved management of IT and looking at our business systems and business solutions. We know we have gaps. We've had gaps for a decade at least, and we want to make sure that we close those gaps and we use the most innovative technology to do so. We have been the leaders in the development of solutions using cloud computing, using the flexible, elastic capability that was created and invented at our Ames Research Center in California, partnering with other centers, most recently with Goddard Space Flight Center, to use the Nebula platform to demonstrate the capability and also to provide the computing needs that our scientific and technical engineering workforce need. We're working across the whole agency with different centers to establish better ways of managing technology, better ways of computing, better ways of telecommunication, and providing mission communication as we have done for over 50 years. One of the things I did actually before September 28th was to look at our infrastructure program. Our I3P program is actually a set of 5 contracts plus one when you look at the Enterprise Service Desk running at our NASA Shared Service Center down at Stennis. And the set of contracts are used to enable the strategy that we will develop, that we are developing, to have our infrastructure run in a very efficient way. I stopped the acquisition to look at it, to make sure that it included the goals of the new administrator, to make sure that it included the goals of the Obama administration in terms of green IT, innovation, cloud computing, and to make sure that it provided the right kind of value, the right kind of security posture, and the right kind of solutions for our customers. We restarted all but one of these contracts. We made some improvements in the RFP. Now we're in various stages of the life cycle of the procurement process. The 5th one, the NASA Enterprise Data Center, should be released in the next few months after we determine what our complete requirements are. And looking in more detail about the NASA Enterprise Data Center, what we're doing right now is doing an inventory. We've done the inventory of how many data centers we have, what our requirements are, where they are, and validating the requirements before we complete the requirements that are going to go into the RFP, which, as I said, will be out later this year. We've been praised, actually, for what we've been doing with cloud computing and our enterprise data center strategy. We want to make sure that we're consistent with that, and we provide a vehicle that industry can respond to. OpenGov is one of the things that we delivered on. We are #1 in government. I have a friend, a colleague that is a federal CIO, and I called him to say hi, hi, how are you doing? And he says, oh, well, you just called to say you're #1. I said, we are #1? I didn't even know that. And actually, I actually didn't. But this OpenGov is actually a very, very tough thing to do, and we've got many of our brilliant people working on that. The thing about open government is really one of the principles of my leadership, because open government is very risky. You risk yourself because you want to be open, collaborative, you want to ask for input, you want to tell people things, and with that comes a lot of risk, but then with risk comes a lot of reward, and the reward is to get ideas from a large set of people that you couldn't get before. So I think that open gov is very important, and what's more important than that is open leadership. So these are very lofty goals, and nobody can do this without people. I can't do this without people. But then after all, this is a summit, and it's a tall mountain to climb, but not impossible to climb. And the community people, I want to talk about some of them right now. And that's the center CIOs. I'm standing up here before you as the agency CIO, but the people who aren't standing up here really are standing up here with me, and that's the center CIOs. There's Jim Rinaldi. He's the CIO of NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab. He's a seasoned, experienced executive. He's leading a team of innovators that truly will change the world. Ken Norlands, the quiet, steady, competent executive, delivering results time after time. James Williams, who stood before you this morning, the dapper James Williams, I might add. The innovative pragmatic, what an oxymoron, but that's what he is, making our dreams reality. The Sweet CIO, Larry Sweet. He'll make sure that we get there on time, within budget, and delivering the results that we promised and that we need. We have somebody new, Bruce O'Dell. He's new, but he brings old wisdom with him from his years of federal service. Dinah Cottrell, she's small but mighty, not to be ignored. She's only just started showing what mountains she can move. Jonathan Pettis, he's tall and mighty, the strategist whose ideas are as tall as he is. Mike Bolger, he'll get us there with a smile, and that demonstrates the confidence and his competence and what he delivers to us as a leadership team. Kelly Carter, steady, calm, professional, keeps us on track, keeps us grounded. Kathy Mangum, another innovative pragmatic, quiet, but still waters run very deep. She's going to get us there. Adrienne Gardner, that infectious smile, the smile of a leader, bringing excitement to our team, making us laugh, making us think, challenging us, and keeping us moving forward. And finally, Sashi Pillay, innovative, creative, imaginative. He believes we can do anything with IT, and so do I. We must recognize that our ability to be the very best IT organization in the federal government rests with these people who comprise our IT community, and you who are part of our IT community. Our success in all facets can be achieved through effective teamwork among a workforce rich with diverse education, discipline, capabilities, skills, experiences, preferences, and thoughts. And with this notion of teamwork, I recall the old folktale called Stone Soup. You may have heard of it or read it to your children. I know there's several variations, but the general tale is of a traveler seeking food in a village, only to be turned away by most of the villagers, save one, who offers up water and a cooking pot. The traveler started a fire in the middle of the village and sat about to make stone soup with the aid of magic, a magic stone. Curiosity drew the villagers out, inquiring about how this soup tasted. When the traveler admitted that the soup would taste better with a few garnishes, one by one, the villagers each contributed something to the stone soup. And in the end, they all sat down for a fine feast. Now, I admit that the tale does involve a bit of trickery, on the part of the traveler, but I'm reminded that with the combination of creativity, cooperation, and teamwork, that we all can outdistance our expectations and achieve results we never thought possible. Along with embracing and utilizing the talents of our rich and diverse workforce, we need to become a more focused, outcome-oriented IT organization in order to translate our services and capabilities into world-class dimensions. We need to understand our customers, how they feel, how they become fully acquainted with what we have to offer them, how we become fully acquainted with what they need. We must delight our customers. We must be driven to be innovative instead of just meeting expectations. We need to delight rather than just meet. And we will strive to be mission obsessed rather than mission aligned. I realize that there will be challenges in doing all this, and while we may be slowed, we won't be stopped. And as a community with this challenging mission, inspired by a common vision and guided by core principles and values, together we will transform the state of NASA IT. And in doing that, we will help modernize government and enable mission results for NASA. I'm placing a charge upon you this morning to make most of your time here at the summit as valuable as you can. I encourage you to be an active participant in the sessions you attend. Make a point to meet people, meet new people, connect with people you haven't seen for years perhaps. Visit the exhibit hall and learn what vendors are offering, as well as what the great work that some of your co-workers around the agencies around the center is doing. And yes, you can follow what's going on on Twitter. I can't because they took my BlackBerry this morning. So I will be the disconnected CIO until after dinner, no doubt. I truly believe, though, that this will be an incredible learning experience. It is for me in the first hour that we've started. And I believe that all of us will extend our time here and continue the great work that was started. Thank you all for being here, and please enjoy the summit.